He gave them everything, and in return, they gave him goodbye. In a small, forgotten town where dreams went to die, lived a quiet mechanic named Daniel. His life shattered the day he lost his wife during childbirth, leaving him to raise their 3 children all alone. From that moment on, his world revolved around them. He worked grueling double shifts at the garage, his hands permanently stained with grease and oil. He'd often skip meals, telling his kids he'd already eaten, just so they could have a little extra on their plates. When times got really tough, he quietly sold his most precious possession, his wedding ring, to ensure they could stay in school and have a shot at a life he never could. Years flew by like pages in a worn-out book. His children grew up and moved away, one by one, chasing success in the big city. They became distant. The calls grew shorter, then less frequent. Neighbors in their small town would whisper behind his back, saying his sacrifice was all for nothing, that his kids had forgotten the old man who gave up his life for them. Daniel tried to ignore the whispers, but a seed of doubt was planted in his heart. One bitter winter evening, Daniel collapsed at work from sheer exhaustion. He woke up in a stark, white hospital room, the rhythmic beeping of the machines his only company. Days turned into a week, and not one of his children came. He overheard a nurse talking softly in the hallway. "It's so sad." None of his children even came to visit. The words struck him like a physical blow. He closed his eyes, a single tear tracing a path through the grime on his cheek. He had failed. After all he'd done, he was completely and utterly alone. A few days later, he was discharged. He took a cab back to his small, crumbling house, his heart heavier than it had ever been. He braced himself for the crushing silence of an empty home, but as the cab pulled up, he stared in disbelief. The sagging roof was gone, replaced by a new one. Warm light poured from the windows. Hesitantly, he pushed open the front door. The house was transformed. Fresh paint, new furniture, and on every wall, framed family photos he hadn't seen in years. On the kitchen table, there was a single letter. His hands trembled as he opened it. The kids had planned everything in secret. They stayed away on purpose so he wouldn't get suspicious. They had pooled their money to buy the house outright. They'd already paid all his medical bills, and they had one last surprise for him. At the bottom of the letter, in his daughter's familiar handwriting, were the words, "You raised us alone so we could stand on our own. Now, it's our turn to carry you." Daniel sank into a chair, the letter falling from his hands as he broke down, not from the pain of loneliness, but from the overwhelming realization that his love was never, ever forgotten. Sometimes, the people who seem to forget you are the ones quietly preparing to honor you forever. Thank you for watching.